So welcome back friends. We are working on implementation of cloud infrastructure monitoring, and in this video I will be focusing more on Azure monitoring for containers. So I have made couple of small videos so that you don't get boring. So I have already created couple of videos like how do you basically create an MVC application using Docker. Then how do you package your application in the Docker image and upload it into Azure Container Registry, and how do you create an Azure Container Registry in the Azure portal. All of these videos I have already made, so feel free to watch them. So next step is, so you can see here I have my container registry in Azure portal where I have my repository. If you go to repository, you'll see our Docker image is here, and this is basically a containerized ASP.NET package using all the ASP.NET dependencies, and everything is here. If you click this, basically this is nothing but a Docker image, correct? So next step is to host this Docker image such that from the internet I can browse my ASP.NET application. Okay, so in order to host a container, a Docker container or any kind of container, you must need some hosting environment, and one of the hosting environment which is most popular nowadays is the Kubernetes. So if you go to all services in Microsoft Azure portal and search for K8, then you can see Kubernetes services is a service that you can use. Okay, you can always put it in your favorite, so you click it. So Kubernetes services is basically it is a cluster, and cluster means it can give you a couple of nodes where you can run your Docker images. And the benefit of Kubernetes cluster is you can basically scale it out, right? And you can use it physically, virtually, cloud, on premises, anywhere you can download and run them, right? So right now we are in cloud. So this Kubernetes services will basically go ahead and it will help you to create the cluster. So if you notice this diagram, basically, so we have Azure Container Registry. We have already created that, which basically nothing but a repository where you just put your Docker image, okay, and then you have a name for that container, that Docker container, and you have a name for the Azure Container Registry, which is also called as login service server. Login server, right? Why these two names are there? Because they are the main properties using that Kubernetes cluster will basically try to connect and get your Docker image, okay, containerized application, and then it will try to host it into the public port, correct? So if you see, then next in this diagram it is showing that Azure Kubernetes cluster, that is we are going to create, which will have a pod as a workload, and then there is another service it will have which will be called as like basically a service with the load balancer and all, right? So at high level what happens, this Azure Kubernetes cluster gets some authentication authorization, and then it will try to connect to your Azure Container Registry, and this is all happens via the pod, which is a workload, right? So you can see this arrow here, it says that Kubernetes is using a workload called as pod, and this pod is basically trying to connect to your registry, container registry, and it is trying to get your Docker container, which is an containerized application, web application, and it will basically put it into internal port 80. It is internal, so it is not public yet, okay? But then in order to make it public, you need to put in Azure Kubernetes cluster another thing, which is a service. So you need to deploy another service, and in that service you can say that, okay, use my internal port 80 for this cluster and host it into public 8080. And then basically this service will internally have a load balancer. You don't need to do anything for that. Azure will take care for it. So what happens after that? It will give you a public URL, and you can always use your domain to customize it. And then from the public client, they can use phone, internet, computer, whatever, to connect to your website that you have created. Okay, so in this video we can go ahead and create an Azure Kubernetes cluster first, and then in upcoming video we can do workload, service, and all of that. So stay tuned. So I am in Azure Kubernetes cluster services. So here I'll go and add Kubernetes cluster, and you have to provide the group, resource group, and I'll select the resource group, put the name here. So I'll say next the zone. So you may decide where you want to available them. So I'll put it one zone only, because this is costly also a little bit. And then you can go and put the node, right? So like I said, cluster having couple of node where you run your application. So for this demo I put one. In production you can go up to 5,000 nodes. So next poll, you can keep it default. Go to authentication. So this section, authentication method. So this is the place where you can decide whether this Azure Kubernetes service will use which kind of authentication to connect to your container registry. So you can go service principal, but then you have to define which kind of role you want to put, which is the user. But I'll use system assigned managed identity here. So next is networking, and you can keep it as default. Go to integration. This is the part where you want to integrate with your container registry. And the first part was authentication. Next part is how to identify which registry you have to pull. So if you go to this drop down, you'll find your registry, take that, and then rest you can keep as a default. And in order to monitor, right, this is the part that we are focusing in this video. Basically we are going to, in our future video, we are going to monitor our container, right? That is why this video is getting made. So in order to monitor your container, you must have a analytics workspace created, and in my previous video I did that. So this log analytics workspace is something that you will select from this drop down that you have already created, or it will use the default workspace that is created while you create this Kubernetes. And then Azure policy is there, so you can keep it as default. Tags, if you need, you can put more tags here, and then finally we will review. Okay, so review is good, everything looks good. So let's create it. It takes around 2 to 3 minutes to create this cluster. So let's wait for a couple of minutes to get it created, and then we will proceed in our next video to see how can we create a pod and service and host our Docker image. So in this video I'll just show you how to create the cluster, and I gave you overview of the K8 cluster. So let's wait a couple of more time to see when it is getting created. So see, it is saying the resource started and they are deploying the workspace. You can see this Microsoft resource status created, operation detail. You can go and check it out. So these are the secret things that you don't need to show, but basically it is keep updating that this is also okay. And next is solution deployment is going on. So why it creates this cluster? It creates lot of resources, right? So make sure when you delete after this demo, when you are going to delete this cluster, then make sure you go to the resource group and find out all of the resources that has been created while creating this cluster, correct? So otherwise you will be getting charged, so be sure on that side. That is a good learning that I found. So when you create Kubernetes cluster under the hood, it is doing a lot of stuff, right? You can always create this cluster and all using PowerShell as well, PowerShell CLI. So now PowerShell CLI is like a first class thing in Microsoft. You can use for many services. The another thing is when you create this the logging part to put it into log analytics workspace. The benefit of putting things in a log analytics workspace is you can connect to other services of Azure, right? Suppose you want to connect to Azure Sentinel. Let me pull up the name. Azure Sentinel. So if you want to connect to Azure Sentinel, right, you need a basically analytics workspace. So Azure Sentinel is a cloud native security information and event manager platform that uses built-in artificial intelligence to help analyze large volumes of data across the enterprise. So basically Azure Sentinel is a enterprise level concept, okay, and what it does, it basically coordinates with all of the data available in your enterprise, and it will show you into a single pane, right? So you can read this very carefully. It has good articles and description about that. So it's like connecting the dots kind of thing. It will basically connect all of the data within your enterprise and it will show you in a pane. So it has been named as leader in the Forest Wave security analytics platform provider of that. This is the small video that they have made. High cost, slow to scale, because of the AWS. So see, this is the picture that I was saying, connecting the dots thing. So this Sentinel, Azure Sentinel, can show you a dashboard where you can see all of the resources, where basically you can see that some of them are red, right? They are like in a critical zone. They have some security concerns there, and it will show you where the other things are impacted in your enterprise, right? So this is a great tool kind of to have it, and it's helpful. Yeah, so basically it is saying you can automate that. Suppose something happened, okay, so you can write a code. You can also write your Azure function for that to create an action, to send an email, to call people, or to do some other infrastructure work, right? Right. So Azure Sentinel is at enterprise level, right? It's connecting the dot concept, but the Azure Security Center, which is up in the portal that you can see, that is basically to help you to collect the data. Okay. So see, you can see my deployment is done so far. So I think we are good now in this video. Next video, what we will do is we'll try to upload our we will try to create the pod and service to host our Docker image. See you soon.